Ba-doom. Well, as everyone knows at home, that we've gone through a huge battle last episode. A battle on epic moments, for the show that the Black Scorpion is no more. But unfortunately, while the Black Scorpion is no more, we got this Pendragon, Sir Peter Pendragon, to contend with. He is someone from Frater's past, and oh dear, the sad bird. Indigestionville. That. Frater, you want to tell the audience again? Yeah, well, basically what happened was, understand I can add more clarity because I was beat up by a guy in a black ski mask. It kind of helps to not be beaten up by a man in a black ski mask. It kind of actually does help not to be beaten up by a man in a black ski mask. Okay, so what happened is basically what ended up happening is that um where to start here? Well, when I first started Saturngrad, or I should say I'm a clone, but basically I'm a clone of the real person who started Saturngrad, because if you see the title of the video, it says underneath in the description, we're in a simulation. Us four in a simulation. We're based on real people. So basically, what it is, the person I'm based on, when I started Saturngrad Productions, and mind you, as clones, we are actually banned from the thing that we thought we started. Yes, we're on Mechatreka, guys. Which is a very weird thing. A very weird channel. It is a very big channel too, as far as subscribers versus like Saturngrad. Uh, so I started as a record label doing like black metal and stuff, and not very nice stuff. Frater, that's atrocious, and it wasn't very good. I made like 6 albums, but I was never able to really distribute them really well. It was weird for a time. Lulu actually sold that stuff. They would sell like stuff on like data discs and stuff, data CDs and stuff, and that was weird. But they got rid of that, the digital media stuff. Yeah, kind of can't blame them. They didn't want to deal with that stuff anymore. They even had DVDs. You could have a DVD made. Unfortunately, they didn't do anything to help you with that. So if you end up getting the disc and it ends up being a data disc or something. Oh, Frater, the misadventures of Saturn. So then, of course, I was going, and the jobs I was having were, there were some office jobs I was having that were really putting me in a dark place. And so, yeah, I was getting into some dark occultism and stuff. And so, I started to listen to this guy. I had first heard him on Coast Coast AM. I'm not saying the name, but mainly it's because it's kind of like the Garden of Eden. If you tell someone, "Oh, don't eat of that tree," and then some serpent says, "Oh yeah, but by the way, well, you know how human beings are. They have a tendency to put their finger in the light socket. You know what I mean?" So I don't want to give the name of that person away. It's best if that name is not talked about. And so and he was a very edgy, almost a shock jock type, very shock jock for his time, and would give a lot of amazing different prophecies and things about the future. Some that still haven't come forth yet, but then he still said that that's in 30 years. So That's a lot of time. And so so basically then what ended up happening was is that, I started to kind of, and I'm autistic, so I kind of just started like I was a fan, but I was like imitating him and stuff. So then, I started that show, but at the time I was going through some really deep stuff, deep emotions and stuff. I would argue that the kind of emotionless type stuff I deal with now with ADHD and all that really wasn't there yet. I still had all these like emotions I couldn't really control too well, and that wasn't very good. And so, trying to deal with things, trying to deal with, my autism, I was in a family that really didn't believe in treating it. So, guess what? You're essentially your own therapist and your own doctor, so that's not good. So it kind of helped to do shows and start to get into the whole podcast and things. We're getting kind of a deep area here. To Frater, we're usually a comedy show. I know. Well, I'm just telling you, give you the deep backstory of it. The for cry out loud now. That's like what? How many years now that we're talking about here? We're talking about over 15 years now. Getting into 20 years in some cases. It's over 20 years. I mean, it's turning into some kind of deeper backstory here. But so so basically, then I started to I started to write books and stuff, and the stuff didn't start really well. It was mostly taking a bunch of public domain stuff from like sacred texts and stuff like that, and and that stuff's public domain. I mean, that's not a legal issue or whatever, but it's all pre 1923. Although now in the time we live in, that's gotten deeper. Like you even have like the possibly Steamboat Willie is like, the original Mickey Mouse is now in the public domain. Not that you're going to see a Saturn Steamboat Willie. That's just silly. That's just silly. You know how many people are doing the whole Steamboat Willie thing? Come on. And we have a little too respect for Walt Disney. We don't we don't well that we have respect for the Walt Disney for the lawyers. We don't want to be ceased and desist into next week. Okay, yeah. That and I wouldn't even know where to begin with Steamboat Willie. Like, what would be a storyline for Steamboat Willie? Well, me and Steamboat Willie go fishing, and then he strangles me because he finds the ring of power. Oh no! Pooh Guppy Adams has just made a storyline. Yeah, I'm like, hey, look at this ring. And Steamboat Willie looks at me, and he's like, I want the ring. I want. Yeah, he just strangles you. Yeah, he just strangles you really super high. Yeah, okay. So then, I started doing what happened was I started I was actually kind of pressured into this. What? Yeah, I was actually pressured into doing shows like this. And at first I had to do it because what happened was I bought ad space on a show. But they had ads at like this paranormal show that was in like North Carolina or something. I don't live in North Carolina. So supposedly. Uh-oh, he might live in North Carolina, guys. We want to go take a visit. Yeah, we got Diet Mountain Dew. Um, so basically, and then he wanted me to be a guest on the show because I bought ad space and apparently, I bought ad space and that ad was there for many years. Even after, after the initial ad I bought, he kept it there for a long time. Even though I think one of his books he may have kind of took some of my concepts, but I don't really care. I'm kind of autistic. I don't really care. Human beings mimic each other, and especially in that field of paranormal and esoteric, you know, esoteric grifting. I used to call it esoteric scholarism. No, it's grifting. Esoteric grifting. They're called UFO guys. They just take theories from each other and then try to sell it as a whole new book and try to keep relevant somehow. Like where it's Richard C. Hoagland or whoever, and so they can get back on Coast to Coast AM because they have a new book. That's how the grift works. So I don't really care because it's just the way it is. And so what happened was he wanted me on the show. And none understand you're talking about someone who's antisocial and who's autistic and who doesn't have social cues, who yeah, you got the whole what is it, the neurology or numerology or whatever. Yeah, neurology, the issues with that. So I had to like make scripts. I had to give me well, not so much scripts, but like bullet points to understand where to go and flow into the show. It wasn't very good in the end. I was trying to make it so that I could go back and listen to it. That was my desires and stuff, and and it just didn't work out. Because really it's pretty awkward listening to yourself on a show. You know, unless it's this, because it's something you can control, And so, oh, and in the end, yeah, I started, in order to do that show I mentioned, I had to kind of warm up and practice talking. I had not talked before. I had never, the births of the show, the birth pangs of this show you're listening to on Metrekica is because of that. It's because I was kind of forced to do this. So then, because I was just like playing around with books and stuff. I didn't have really a voice. So then finally it happened, and I ended up hold on a second here. That basically that I ended up okay, that's all good. Okay, so basically what ended up happening was, I ended up practicing with, the show I had made, and I did about 10 episodes of that at the time, and it ended up doing like I ended up doing two different shows at the time other than that one. And then including one show where I had no sleep, so basically I had to really throw everything into it. On top of doing a night shift, they let me go home early. That was kind of nice of them. So then, finally at long last, I got to a point where, I think I was having some emotional issues and stuff, and a lot of times in your life, when you're working like crappy jobs and you're working at night, you might start having some kind of personal issues. So I had to I had to stop the show, but I didn't want to stop it, so I got myself a co-host, or should I really say a host? And that was Sir Peter Pendragon, and he took the show in a direction that was very Coast to Coast AM, very Art Bellish, with UFOs, and it would have news reports, from the Coast to Coast AM site, and he would bring on guests, talk about ghost stuff, and looking back on it, it was probably pretty nice stuff at the time. Fortunately, I still believe that I was really into the psychology thing. I was really into analyzing human beings and doing some of that stuff, but not a lot of it. I really believed in that. So, yeah. So, And then, of course, then what happened was my real love, at the time, was retro video games and all that. And I just wanted to have fun and not do the serious stuff anymore. I had gone back into the Bible and gone back to Christianity. And so I really was pretty resolved and pretty satisfied on that spiritual front. So that's it. Well, that's a pretty good backstory. Unfortunately, now we got a supervillain on our hands thanks to some mistakes in the past. But we all make mistakes, folks. Yeah, yeah. Well, let's play a game. Well, we are back, and well, Frater, you've recovered enough. You can. Yeah, yeah, we can. I commentate over a game and got Modern Warfare 2, and wow, Frater, we've been doing a lot of like shooty games. What's going on? Well, it's alphabetical order on my Steam list. That's what I decided to do, and understand, like you mentioned last episode, that we've gotten some new games at the time. We've got a whole bunch of games for the 2026 season, and even see how far it goes. But like Command and Conquer, the remake. We got SimCity 3000. I mean, these are EA games. I know, Frater. You were just really worried that you would only be able to play EA games that were before a certain time. Yeah, well, I thought, yeah, even with new games, you would still have to have an EA Origin account. And
we take care of that.
Well, I think anyone who has followed this channel, regardless on the old channel or on this new one on Metro Trek, we had a hacker take our account, and what happened is you go to support, you get the account back, they go back to support, they get the account back, and so we had the account deleted because there was only about maybe 2 games on there, and reality was it was 2 Battlefield games I hadn't even played in a long time, and those games have a shelf life, which is why I usually only promote. I only say, like, if a game has bots, that extends its life. Where maybe someday nobody's on there playing really, except for hackers, and you don't want your life ruined. So okay, so just play against the bots, and you can kind of relive some of those memories. Fortunately, there's so many Call of Duty games where you can't do that unless you just hack the game. I've heard of ways to do that, but it's a bit problematic. It's not. I would rather just be able to get into the game and actually play against bots, and than well, So okay,
change, the more they stay
we're alphabetically order. So we're playing the Call of Duty games, and
yeah,
like you said last episode, yeah, sometimes we play it longer or play it less. Yeah, you really hate some objectives. These games always keep pushing you. Like, they really push you hard to move fast, and I like to take my time. I like to absorb a game. I like to feel a game. And I can't do that. I can't do that. They're like failing me for not doing something fast enough, or I'm not, or I don't know. I feel like that really what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you through the campaign as quickly as possible so that you start paying for the DLC. So that's really it. So that's really great,
You know what I'm looking for, Sergeant Foley.
Well,
keep your eyes open.
Got a new batch hitting the pit today, sir. I'll send you the
this
best.
beginning is taking forever. I know. They gotta really build it up. It's like, come on. Let us play. But it is true. We do got some new games, though. You mentioned the first Call of Duty game. Ah, I did. 2003 PC. We even have Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. And I'm not talking about the brand new collector's set they made like a few, 2-3 years ago, whatever. I'm talking about the original games that still work on your PC. They still work. Graphics look pretty good still on this game. The PC version is still, pretty good. Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Yeah, I got the original Call of Duty, and so there's definitely some old PC games. Really what I was looking for. I had actually on the original Xbox Call of Duty a real red one or something. What was it? I forgot the name of that one. Yeah, it was like Call of Duty it didn't have a number with it. It was called like a real red one or something. It's not that first game. I don't know. But I thought that was kind of pretty good. Wasn't bad. Ba-boom. Yeah, big bada boom. I can't ever watch The Fifth Element ever again. Well, when you play something every day, it kind of burns out on you, and you never want to see it again. It's a known fact. My biggest problem I have is I'm incapable. I'm not really capable, and it might be my ADHD, that I'm incapable of watching a movie more than maybe once, except for Star Wars. Like in Indiana Jones, like I can't. I don't know. I think it's because my ADHD got worse. I'm incapable of having joy watching a movie more than once. Like if I watch like Casablanca, I'm like, okay, I watched it. I think it's a great movie. It's awesome. Or Gone with the Wind, and it's like, well, okay, do we want to watch it again? And it's like, well, I already watched it. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, I know how you are. It's like, yeah. But don't get me wrong. I mean, well, eventually, what I try to do is like, with everything I have, I try to create projects around it. So then that way, it gives me excuses to re-review things. Wow, Frater, you always think about it. What is something we've never done on Metro Trakica, or we've never done on even Saturngrad before Mr. Pennypacker banned us? What is something we've never done on YouTube? Well, how about reviewing the things that we own? And it's like we've just, outside of the video games, that's about it. We don't do anything else. And what about the movies? What about, I think the reason why is because I don't think I'm like a real expert on movies. Like I've watched them, and I'm like, I would have to take notes and things I like, things I don't like, and I don't know. That's just not what I'm into. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, like this right here. I mean, look at this. I mean, so you gotta go for training, right? This is really unsatisfying. It is? What's wrong? This training here, they make you go super fast. And if you don't, they make you do it again, or they just say, well, you got a kind of bad grade, and it's highly recommended you do it again. Boom. They even get mad if you reload. They say, oh, you didn't do that right, you didn't do that right. And it's like, and then it's like, oh, you didn't do that right, you didn't do that right. I hate the reload function. I hate reloading in video games. I know, so I was gonna say, but in real life you do that. I don't care. I don't like reloading. I hate it. It's like, I don't want, yeah, you know, most of the time people get killed because they reload. They reload! I realize that you were too slow. Did you just see that? It said you were too slow. Do you know what that means? You can't get past the training in this damn game if you're too slow. Okay, so you can't enjoy anything. They don't want you to enjoy anything because they're trying to be like, well, we're trying to simulate the anxiety of the warfield. It's like, you dorks, it's just a video game. I mean, Hogan's Alley. Civilian killed. Sorry. And there I reloaded again. Oh man. Like even Hogan's Alley. Hogan's Alley wasn't this. Oh, that's right. You can't shoot him. Can't shoot him. He's bulletproof. He's Superman. You gotta use melee. Oh, we want you to use melee on him. Like, oh, there you go, Mr. Packett. Oh, he's telling the truth. The damn sign will let me through here. I'm trying. I'm trying really hard. Shift. Press shift forward to... What? And look how poor I did. Accuracy bonus. You know, it makes you wonder what would happen if you just like ran through the whole thing as quickly as possible. And this is difficulty. Let's see here. Recommended difficulty. Regular. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, oh my god, I was so angry from that. Like, oh, like, it's because they're trying to make you like, anxiety driven. You know, like, oh, it's war, it's real, it's a simulation. It's like, no, it's not. It's not a simulation. It's not Arma. If I wanted that, I'd play Arma. Why would I play Arma? It's too serious. It's too hard. I want to just have fun. I want to just take my time and not care. Like, please, dear sir. Wow, this is the Frater we know. Well, yeah, I'm going in complete bitch out mode. You know, sometimes, yeah, sometimes I'm commentating this stuff, and I forget how I was actually feeling at the time when I was playing it, but I don't know. When I saw that, it was like my brain went, hold on a second, and it brings out a black box, and it's like, here you go, and it opens it up, and it's like, oh, I hated that. And it's like, yeah, that was terrible. It's like, because they want you to feel what the soldiers would. It's a video game. It's the successor to Frogger. It's the successor to Frogger. I don't want to hear anyone say that, ever. It's a successor to Frogger and Pac-Man. Oh my goodness, he's destroyed it. I've destroyed your game. I've made fun of it. It's meant to have fun. the
History is
three-letter
written by
word,
the
as they
victors.
say. Oh, I hate when
Let's
people
get to
say
work.
four-letter word and three-letter word, and it's fun, or it's work. If I want work, there's simulators. You know that? Yeah, that's true. Come on, man. Oh, oh, and get up, get up. Yes, yes, get up. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hurry, hurry, hurry. It's always gotta be rush, 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 rush. Oh boy. All right. Bam, 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 bam. Shoot, shoot, shoot. You can see we didn't have a very fun time with this one. Fortunately, I can't play against real people because, well, you know, they're hackers and yeah, you gotta play offline. Yep, yep, yep. Gotta play. Can't play against hackers. Cause they'll take your bank account and they'll dox you. They'll have your location and they'll just make your life a living hell. And you know so you gotta play offline, and that means you gotta play campaign mode because Affinity Ward felt like, oh no, you gotta play the multiplayer against real people, not bots. At least Treyarch knew better. You know, yeah, they have bots so you can play against if you don't have like good internet. But Infinity Ward's like, that's not how we do things. Well, you know what, man? After you guys were fired from Activision, you guys went on to make a game, and the first game you made is now like a dead game. It doesn't exist anymore because you guys made it completely about multiplayer. That was the game with the bots, right? The mechs, the mech game. It was a shooter. It was like a futuristic shooter with bots, with mechs. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say bots because that makes some confusion. But flappy hand, flappy hand. Yeah. So basically, Infinity Ward makes the guys that came from Infinity Ward after being fired from Activision because Activision didn't want to pay them because they were too successful. They didn't like that. Infinity Ward was becoming bigger in Activision, and these corporations have some egos, man. They would rather that the next game suck than for them to lose control, than to lose financial control. So they didn't want to pay all that money to them because this game made a shit ton of money. It made a lot of money. This is like the old Frater. It used like a fire. So they make Titanfall. Old memory came back. It said, "I got another box for you." Open it up. Ah, Titanfall. Yeah, I remember. Second game was actually, they learned some things. I think it's still somewhat playable. Because you know why, guys? It has a campaign mode. So even though the servers were probably shut down and you can't play against other people, at least you can play campaign mode to get some idea what this was supposed to be all about. Unfortunately, it's become kind of like a dead IP. It's sort of a dead thing nobody talks about anymore. Because really, the second game didn't sell. It sold okay, but it was not the standard that the people who produced it were used to. They weren't gonna bother with a Titanfall 3. So, oh, you got GM all over your face. You got schmuckers. I got schmuckers all over my face. Yes. So the first game was actually, I got to actually play like beta or alpha test or something. You know, I actually got an invitation to, you know, like one of the betas, you know, before it released, and it was pretty good. You know, I thought it was pretty good. You know, it was all multiplayer, and you know, you can bounce off walls and jump like you would in Quake, and you know, or not Quake, but Unreal. Quake, yeah, you know, I think you know doing that crazy high jumping and stuff. You know, that was pretty fun. And then you had the mechs and stuff, and it was like that was something else. No bots, no campaign mode, and guess what? You know, now Titanfall is literally a dead brick. It's a coaster because once they shut down the servers, there's really nothing there, any kind of relic left. I mean, maybe you might be able to play a little bit of the tutorial or something, but even that might be got some kind of DRM, and so probably even that doesn't really work anymore. Titanfall is like a dead game, so I don't like Infinity Ward. You know, I think as time went on, you know, the new team that took over from the people who got fired, you know, that probably incorporate people like from Sledgehammer and stuff like that, you know, and then they started finally having bots in the game. You know, and I said bots are important to the longevity of a shooter because, you know, as the real players leave for other games, and you know, all you got left are hackers trying to steal your life, and you know, so you go into offline mode to protect yourself, and well, guess what? You know, with World War III, you have bots, and you can play against as many bots as you want, and it's fun. You know, I've made a lot of content from Call of Duty World War III, and I know. Why did people not like that one? Because of the maps. They didn't like the maps. They didn't like the maps. There may be other issues. You probably need to look at an Actman video at the time because he did reviews on all the Call of Duties. You know, and he'd tell you if he liked it or not liked it. I don't really like Actman. He's kind of, I don't know, he's just a hype man, and he's kind of, you know, he's another one of these guys that does sponsorships, and I don't really trust streamers to get into sponsorships because I don't know. They just become pitchmen. They just, you know, they just become hype men, and really it's hard to trust them. At least that when YouTube actually started to make streamers actually mark down in their video or their broadcast if it's a sponsor or not, that was a good thing. Because it really created some problems with trust and stuff. Oh, so have you cooled down a little bit? That training in the beginning, seeing that again, that pissed me off really bad, Mr. Peck. Wow, I can understand that, Frater. Yeah. So, that's the way it is, you know, and fortunately, like you mentioned last show, Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2, you can't enjoy that because you need to have an internet connection. I tested that, you know, and that's a game. It's bots. I used to play the bots for years, and there was actually times where it would be my sole shooter. As far as if I just felt like a game with bots, I would play Black Ops 2. Now, Black Ops 1, I think you can go offline with that and play against bots. You know, but that's not as good as Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 had much more options. World War III has the most options because you can even get into some like kind of battlefield type stuff with like control points and stuff. It's not a true battlefield experience because you know, you can't blow buildings up and stuff. You can't have like vehicle warfare and stuff, and that's a big deal. Ba-boom. And that's it. Wow, you're back in full force. That's you know, maybe that battle with the Black Scorpion might have woke something in you. Well, probably helped, you know, but I have a long way to go. Okay, so we gonna keep going or nah? Let's go on to the next game. Well, we'll see you next show, guys, and Happy New Year, everyone. It's so weird, and we're recording this like a year before. We're recording this in like the end of March. We're saying Happy New Year, everyone. Like, yeah, we do this really in advance. Oh, that's how we do it. See you next time. See you next time.
Hunter 2-1 actual, this is Overlord. Send traffic.
The school is secure and hostiles are withdrawing from the area. We're just popping up now.
Solid copy, Hunter 2-1 actual. Proceed with caution to the rally point. EPWs may still be in the area, over.
Roger that, Overlord. Thanks for the tip. Out. Squad, watch for enemy stragglers. Let's get to that rally point. Let's go.
Shock trauma unit. Use my helicopter. Gentlemen, good work on taking the town. Private Allen, you'll be taking orders from me from now on. I'll brief you on the chopper. Let's go. Battalion is Oscar Mike!
So how do I look?
Like one of the bad guys. Perfect for your undercover assignment.
So Makarov is the prize.
Makarov's no prize. He's a whore. A mad dog killer for the highest bidder. Just remember your new identity. It'll keep you alive. Welcome to the 141. Best hand-picked group of warriors on the planet.
It's an honor, sir. When do I meet the rest of the team?
They're on a mission recovering a downed ACS module behind enemy lines.
Their feet wet?
Imagine they're just about freezing right now.
About Stalingrad production. Welcome to Stalingrad Productions. We specialize in spiritual books, comic books and old public domain books that have long been forgotten. We also have done artwork for war history books and fiction-based works. We recommend our Ethiopic Holy Bible Volume 1 that is quite popular and attempts to bring the Book of Enoch back into the Bible's list of books. The Ethiopic Holy Bible Volume 1 also has a few selections from Josephus, a Jewish historian, and also the book has Jubilee and the Apocrypha, which is also available in Catholic Bibles. Frater, SH, is an esoteric researcher who is out to reveal ancient knowledge, both known and forbidden. Frater, SH, has appeared on Joshua P. Warren's Speaking of Strange, Kevin Smith's show, UFO Show, and Ghost Chronicles International with Ron Clark and Richard Felix, the historian from Most Haunted on the Travel Channel.